It's Doc Griffin, your swing surgeon, director of club fitting operations, and yep, it's time again for the doctor's house call. We had a question come in from Lee Dandridge asking about shaft materials. And his message says, I just read this article about graphite shaft and irons, and it's a Golf Week on golfweek.com. Perhaps some of you saw it. And was wondering what Doc has to say on the subject. It may not be real important for a 20-plus handicap, but are the new graphite shafts just as consistent as steel for iron play? With the PPGS sweep of the irons instead of dirt digging, I think the graphite would be advantageous. Welcome your comments. Lee, this is a great question. And I deal with the material of shafts and choosing what should be in a player's clubs based off of a couple different parameters. The first thing that I look at in whether or not to use steel or graphite is the consideration of arthritic pain in the fingers, wrist, elbow, shoulder, and even up into part of the neck. If there is pain in those areas that comes from arthritis or some other type of inflammation that's aggravated by the impact of hitting golf balls and the shock that is sent up the shaft into the hands and then on up into the arms, particularly the hands and wrist and elbow. That's first and foremost the paramount thing that I look at. If a player has that pain, then I definitely recommend graphite as it transmits vibrations less. Simple way to prove this is go out with a graphite shafted club, hit a post, and take a steel club and hit the same post. You'll feel a whole lot more vibration with the steel shaft. The second thing that I look at when determining whether to go graphite or steel is basically club head speed and the ability to get the ball airborne up and going and flying on the proper trajectory. The slower the club head speed, the more help you need in getting the ball up and going. Typically in graphite I can get shafts that have a much softer tip and a much lower kick point, which will allow the shaft to kick and help get the ball up and going. So for a low club head speed player, graphite then becomes advantageous from that standpoint. Now, I know the premise for the question comes from there are several players of notoriety now on the PGA Tour playing graphite shafted clubs. This, you used to never see this. Brent Snedeker is the most recent, and he got to playing them by suggestion and virtue of Matt Kuchar, who is also playing graphites, and there are others as well. But the key here is that graphite has come such a long way in the manufacturing process that they can make graphite that has almost as good a torsional response as steel. Now what that means is, if you can imagine a golf club shaft coming into the hosel, hitting a golf ball, a stationary object at 90 miles an hour, there has to be some give here in the hosel, which is called torque. The shaft has to twist a little bit. Historically, graphite has had a much higher torque rating than steel. A basic steel shaft, I'd say an average torque rating is like 1.8. Some of the softest, worst graphite that ever came down the pipe, and I won't mention the name of the company that made them, had a torque rating like a 5.5, 5.6, which means whenever that force is applied to the face, there's a lot of twist. So if you had a very slow club head speed, that actually was good, because you're not causing it to deflect a lot. But if you had a fast club head speed, then yeah, it would open up and just bend all over the place, and the ball would go shooting off in all kind of directions. So the improvements in graphite in that respect have come such a long way that yes, you can now get graphite in your irons that is almost as good as steel. In some cases, I would say they are as good as steel. However, be advised, they are not cheap shafts. So what you want to look at, if you're going to go from steel to graphite, is you want to look at the torque rating. If you have a moderate club head speed, let's say with a 5-iron of 82 miles an hour or above, you want to find something in the 2.6 to 2.8 range on the torque rating. If your club head speed is down in the 70s, probably something like a 3.2. If you get down into lower 70s, upper 60s, you may want to go as high as 3.8 to 4.0. And this will work adequately for you. Whether or not you're a 20 handicapper or a 2 handicapper is irrelevant. You want to find the shaft that works best for you. So if you need or want the benefit of graphite, then certainly you can get good graphite. The observation that with the PPGS sweep of the irons instead of dirt digging, I think graphite would be advantageous. That one eludes me a little bit, because I look at it the other way. If I'm pounding the dirt and creating a lot of shock, that's where I would necessarily want the graphite, not the fact that I'm sweeping. So that one is a little bit unclear to me. But anyway, Lee, I appreciate your question. I hope that answered it satisfactorily. And guys, if you have questions, please feel free, like Lee did, to send them in off of our contact page on the Certified Fitters and Instructors page, or you can send it to customer service, and they will make sure it gets to the right spot. Well, that's it for me today, and as always, we appreciate your support. And remember, better golf is just a fit away.